Hi guys, I'm Nathan Lively from Sound Design Live, and I met Arif through a course that I teach online called Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound, which is an online course in sound system optimization, sound system tuning. It's all about speaker placement, aim, EQ, and crossover alignment for setting up sound systems to maximize whatever materials you have to get a really great result in any room. So Arif was one of my students in the course, and he asked me to make a short video because I know he is participating in this clinic that you guys are working on. So he asked me to say thank you to Zirca, who I know is helping you guys with this, and also to just maybe give a few tips about what you guys are doing the clinic on. So I understand that the clinic is about communication and the relationship between an audio engineer and a musician. And I think the best tip I can share is to try to develop a relationship where you are seen as someone who is an instrument of achieving the goals that the musician wants, and not just another tool in the toolbox. So, for example, when you approach a musician or an artist or a client for the first time, in the case where you're just meeting them the day of the show and you're setting up, you might say something like, "What are your goals for this event?" Instead of, "How many microphones do you need?" or "Can I have your input list?" or something like that. So instead of just acting as another tool in the toolbox and just connecting them from a microphone to a mixing console to a sound system, you want to be seen as someone who can actually help them with their goals. The reason for that is that then it can make it a lot easier for you to have conversations about your limitations and how to best achieve what they want. Because they might say to you, "Oh, I need 6 vocal microphones," when in reality, that's not what they really need. Or maybe what they really need is 8 vocal microphones, but that's not what they normally have. Or there are all these questions that are a lot easier to approach when you're just helping them try to achieve their end goal. So you want to find out what their end goal is, and then you're going to help them make the path to get there. And then about the limitations, it can really help you when you start running into problems where, say for example, you run out of gain before feedback in your stage monitors. If you have discussed with them that their main goal is that everyone in the audience can hear the vocals really well, then now it's a lot easier for you to have a conversation and say, "Hey, you told me that your goal is to have everyone in the audience hear you really well. Well, the volume of the stage monitor is stopping me from doing that. So I need to lower the volume of the stage monitor so I can increase the volume in the house to achieve your goal." So you want to put it back on them. So you don't want it to be about what you want. You want it to be about what they want. You're always trying to make the best action, the best plan to achieve their goals. Because you don't want to get into a conflict where it seems like you're just trying to do what you want. Okay, so I hope that helps. And the one other tip that I thought I would just share is probably the best tip that I have for making faster improvements and growth as a sound engineer. It's also one of the simplest things to do, is to just keep a show log. And the simplest way to execute that is just after every event that you work on, you take out a document that you have on your phone, some notes or something, and you just answer the question, "What's one thing that I learned today?" Because as you guys know, every event that we work on, we learn something, right? There's not one event that we work on where we come in and it's like, "I didn't learn anything today." Something always changes, right? And that's what's exciting about this kind of work. But a lot of times we learn something on an event and then we slowly forget it, right? If we don't use that information, then maybe a year later or 6 months later, we've forgotten what we learned. But if you take 30 seconds at the end of the day to write that down, not only will that help you commit it to memory, but then later on, if you need to find that and say like, "Oh, what did I learn about speaker X and its coverage pattern?" Oh, I can look that up really quickly because I wrote it down. But if you don't write it down, then you might just have to learn it all over again. And then you're not moving forward. You're just sort of like having stops and starts, and you don't have like a gradual growth increase. All right, so I think it's awesome that you guys are putting on this clinic. So thanks to Arif, thanks to Zirca. And if you guys want to reach out to me and ask me any questions, you can do that at sounddesignlive.com. All right, have a great clinic.